Hey guys, in this week's tip, we're going to continue on with our series by taking a look at SMS payments. This time, we're going to test drive the functionality of vouchers and gift cards. So what we're going to do is we're going to review the features and go through a live demonstration. Then if time permits, we're going to go through some of the reporting on the back end of this thing to give you an idea of what is captured. So without further ado, let's hop in. So if you remember back to the first video we did on SMS payment and its functionality, specifically on centralized refund, we did a teaser at the end that talked about using printed paper vouchers in exchange or whenever a customer does a refund transaction. So a customer wants to return all or part of a transaction, instead of giving them cash or refunding the money back on the customer's credit card, what you can do is use SMS payment to generate a printed voucher with a barcode at the bottom that stores and holds value. It's kind of like a gift card, the plastic ones you're used to using, but it's printed on your receipt paper. So we're going to step through that process right now, and we're going to use it as an example of how you can use vouchers. Now, printed vouchers aren't only used for this type of refund transaction. They can be used for all sorts of things. Pay at the pump. They could even take the place of the plastic gift cards you're used to. But in this example, we're just going to do the refund, and I think it's going to give you the idea. So what I've got on the screen here is an example of a receipt of a transaction that I completed earlier this morning. Now, I work with my certified SMS dealer, and I set my system up so that it prints barcodes at the bottom of the receipt that correspond to the exact transaction date, time, pricing, all that good stuff, just like what you're used to. So what I'm going to do is utilize that functionality to scan the barcode at the bottom. Now you can see what pops up here on the screen is the exact items as they were on that transaction. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to return the charcoal briquettes as the customer. I don't need them. I'm going to select it, hit go. It's going to throw the charcoal back here into SMS in the POS screen as a refund mode operation. That's what we've got set up. You can see I'm going to be refunding, giving change back to the customer. But instead of giving change in this particular case, I want to go ahead and subtotal this baby out, and I want to do a refund voucher. Now you're not going to see the receipt print on the screen, so I'm going to scan it, and then I'll come back and we'll go over that. But I'm going to hit refund voucher. You're going to see it communicated with the SMS Pay server. You might have heard my receipt printer go. You can see we've got a prepaid activation transaction log right here. Now let me go grab the receipt, scan it real quick, and we'll go through that part. All right, so we're back. I scanned in that receipt. We can go through that to kind of explain what we did in this voucher transaction. Everything on the receipt is exactly like what you're used to today in SMS and any other type of refund transaction. The only difference is how we gave the tender back to the customer, how we gave them that refund back. So you can see we did the refund of the charcoal here. Here's the value and the applicable tax. Then we come down here and we got an extra barcode on our receipt plus some interactions with SMS payment right here. So this is what we're going to go through. What we did is we activated a prepay function, basically a voucher within the system that said create this account number right here, store this value. This account number has this balance because we only have the one interaction with that account. It was done on this terminal. This is the authorization ID. This is kind of like the reference number of the transaction, reaching back out to SMS payment and saying, hey, this is a valid transaction. We're going to refund the customer on this account, this amount. Here is the searchable later reference number. We're seeing that it communicated successfully with SMS payment. We've got an expiration date out of the box. I think it's 90 days. I don't know. You'd have to figure that out real quick. But you can have an expiration date if that's what you want for this particular voucher. Now, if we were to scan this barcode, which we'll do here in just a second, what you will see is we are basically doing a prepaid tender at that point. Here, we've got a prepay activation. This is no different than prepaying when you go to the gas station. You prepay before you go out to the pump. Same type of thing. So use that mentality. Now we're going to hop back to the POS and we're going to do a regular old transaction, scan this barcode, and see what happens. All right, so we're back now at the POS. I just rang in a few items here, and now I'm going to scan that barcode on the receipt voucher that we just saw a minute ago. I'm going to scan it. You'll see what happens. It reaches out to the pay server. It's going to go ahead based on my login and be able to pre-authorize up to $200. You kind of saw that 200 there. It looked into the account, realized that the account was $10.49, and now what's going to happen is it's going to reduce the balance, which all makes sense. That's perfectly normal. I'm going to go ahead and subtotal this bad boy out, cash out, and now I'm going to have my receipt print up on the screen here so that we can see what's going on. That way I don't have to scan it. So it's exactly what you expect. Items rung up here, we have our net sales here, we come down to our tender and our totalization down here, and you can see we had a prepaid card, basically that voucher that we just did. Here's the account number, here's the value, it reduced the balance, then we cashed the baby out from there. So that's an explanation of vouchers. It's pretty straightforward and probably exactly like what you think. The only difference is we're not using third-party services or third-party systems to manage it. It's all managed within SMS via the account numbers, via the balances. Pretty simple stuff. You can use this instead of gift cards. You can use it with gift cards, kind of like what I'm going to do here because we're going to get into the gift card in just a second. And you can use it for really any type of pre-authorization function that you might have. Pretty cool stuff. Now let's hop over to the gift card side and go through some of those functions right now. All right, before we step through the functionality and the actual demonstration of gift cards with SMS payment, we need to go over a couple technical aspects of it. No worries, it's nothing too complex or too difficult. When we're communicating with SMS payment in the gift card world, really it was in the voucher world as well. It makes more sense to me to explain it here than it did with the paper vouchers. When we're communicating with SMS payment, we're doing so via a web service, and that service communicates through a protocol called Secure Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It's HTTPS. It's the same stuff you utilize when you buy something off of Amazon or eBay or any other retailer site that you might buy online. It is also the same technology and the same encryption methodology that is used in your standard bank interface with SMS. So everything is 100% PCI compliant. It is secure. Everything is on the up and up on this. It is no different than any other bank driver within SMS, and that's really all we need to say about it. Now, what is drastically different than standard SMS bank drivers is that when you utilize gift card processing through SMS payment, there are no, zero, nada, nothing per transaction fees. That's the biggest advantage to using SMS payments for store branded gift cards, is that you don't have to pay some other guy to process money that is managed within inside your store. That's the beauty of it. So let's step through it. First, we're going to load the card, then we're going to spend the card, then we're going to recharge the card, then we're going to do a couple other things as well. So we're going to load the gift card here, a new gift card that we have with a balance that the customer is going to pick. And you're going to see the steps in the process flow is probably no different than what you do today. The only difference is going to be we're handling it all within SMS. Now my setup here, I've got my normal SMS POS here. You're going to see the normal electronic receipt show up right over here like what you're used to seeing in all the videos. Now I've also got an Epson receipt printer attached to this system because there are a couple receipt chits that we're going to look at here as we step through these processes a little bit. So I'll scan those and show you those on the screen. Now hopefully via picture-in-picture technology you can see the pin pad that I've got set up on this system as well. That's what I'm going to be utilizing to go through all these steps, so hopefully it won't be all that complicated. So your actual button structure may be a little different. I go into my function menu and I'm going to go ahead and do a load gift card. Now you can see SMSPOS is saying, hey Mr. Operator, how much does the customer want to add on the gift card? Whether they're face value or not, you can make those changes and have that automated within SMS. But in my case, I just got one card, there's no face value on it, and we're going to put the value in manually. So I'm going to say $25, that's what the customer wants to pay. You can see that the SMS POS is saying, hey, go ahead and swipe the card, Mr. Customer, at the pin pad. You can see the pin pad telling the customer, it's blinking, swipe your card, go ahead and get that done. So I'm going to stick my card in, I'm going to swipe it, there's going to be a read, a confirmation to the customer of $25, yes or no, do you want that, Mr. Customer? Yes, I do. SMS POS is going to come back, activate that gift card via the prepay activation function. Very, very similar to what we did on that voucher. We're going to go ahead, subtotal this baby out, cash out, and now the receipt is going to be exactly what you expect. It's going to show the activation of the gift card, and then down here at the bottom, it's going to have the functions that we did within SMS payment. Now my on-screen receipt down here at the bottom, I also, you might have heard it on my Epson printer, printed out a little receipt sheet. That's the gift card receipt like you're used to getting at every darn store that you go to where you buy a gift card. There's something that you're going to include with the card for whoever it is that you're giving it to let them know what the balance and the amount is that was put on that card. You see though that this functionality and this structure of data here is exactly like what we did on the voucher. Remember what I said earlier, a voucher and a gift card are basically the same thing. It's just the media that's used, whether it's a barcode on a receipt paper or an MSR on a plastic card, the same functionality is used. You can see here's our account number, here's the amount that we put on it, here's the balance, they're one and the same because we just activated this bad boy. The register and terminal, or I'm sorry, the terminal and store number we did them at, the reference number, the authorization ID, the reference number that we can use to check back at a later date. It communicated with the pay server successfully essentially, here's the expiration date. Out of the box again, this I think is 90 days. You can set that to whatever the heck it is that you want. All right, that was pretty easy. So let's go ahead and use that gift card. Let's assume I got the gift card as a gift and now I want to come back into your store and use it for some of my purchases. I went ahead and scanned in an item here. I'm ready to go. I let the cashier know I'm ready to tender out, and then I'm going to use a gift card. Your cashier selects the gift card as a tender. The POS tells the cashier that, hey, let the customer know to swipe their card. You can see the pin pad over here is blinking and saying, hey, Mr. Customer, swipe your card. So I am Mr. Customer. I'm going to come in. I'm going to swipe my card. It's going to read it. It's going to validate. Do you want to spend $21.39? Yes, I do. I'm going to go ahead and do that. You'll see what happens over here in SMSPOS is that we total that baby out. And let's take a look at our receipt. So on the receipt, you're going to notice a couple things here. Let me scroll down here so we can see all the important stuff. The stuff up top is exactly what you expect. You can see there's a prepaid tender right here, that gift card account that we just used. Now, what happened in the back end on SMSPayment was that we know we used $21.39. That was what the total sale was. So what we did is we deducted that amount from the gift card balance and have a remaining balance of $3.61. Everything in terms of the terminal, the store number, and that reference ID successfully communicated with SMSPayment, and the expiration date, all that remains the same. But you can see the customer still keeps that card. They have a $3.61 balance on it that can be used at a later date. So this is really no different than any of your experiences of gift cards in any other store. The only difference is, guess what? You as Mr. Retailer, you ain't paying those per transaction swipe fees when you do it through SMSPayment. All right, so for this next demonstration, pretty simple. I'm going to take that same card that we got that small $3 and some change balance on it, and I as the customer want to add to that because I'm going to continue to use this card. Well, I don't have a button set up, so I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. You could set up a button over here to go ahead and recharge, but I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. Just come to my menus, go to payment, and then the function actually is Prepay Recharge. It's exactly the same steps and really the same procedure as if you were loading it from scratch. So my Prepay Recharge, I'm going to tell the cashier I want to increase my gift card by $25. Cashier says, okay, Mr. Customer, go ahead and swipe your card. You can see that the pin pad is blinking and doing its thing. I, as a customer, come to the pin pad, I swipe it. We're going to get a confirmation. Do you want the total to be 25 bucks added? Yes, I want that to be. Now back in SMS, the POS is saying we've got a prepay increase. You're going to pay cash for it. We're going to tender out. And now if we look at our receipt, down here at the bottom, the top is always the same. Down here at the bottom, we can see what happened. That gift card, the account number right here, that's truncated just like PCI says. So all that stuff that I said early on in the gift card demo is all true. You can see we added $25. Our balance must have been $3.61 before. We knew it was $3 and change. So our total balance now is $28.61. You can see the terminal and store number, all that's the same. The authorization ID, the reference number, the communication with SMSPayment, and the expiration date. All that stuff flows over. So now the customer can have the same exact gift card, load, use, load, use, load, use. Pretty cool stuff. And remember, this is going to get redundant. You aren't paying per transaction fees. So to round out the functionality of gift cards with SMSPayment, we're going to go through a transaction that I know is going to happen, and you know it's going to happen. The customer lost a little piece of receipt paper that tells them the balance on the card. So the customer is going to say, hey, Mr. Retailer, can you tell me how much I have on my gift card here? You're going to say, sure thing, let's come over. Now I was too lazy to create a button, so we're just going to do this the old-fashioned way. We're going to go in and we're going to do a prepay, a gift card balance. So I'm going to hit that function. You can see the cashier now tells the customer, go ahead, Mr. Customer, swipe your card. Mr. Customer comes to the pin pad. He swipes his card. SMS is going to print out now a little receipt chit on the receipt printer. It can't show up on my screen here just because of the way it's set up. So I'm going to scan it and I'll come right back and show you what's on it. All right, so I went ahead and scanned that receipt for the balance inquiry of the gift card. Now you can see here the card and account number is truncated right up here. Here it is. Here's the date and time and terminal and all that stuff, just like what we see. This is our 2861 balance. All these entries down here are just chronological events of what happened. No comments from the peanut gallery. I screwed up and didn't turn on my camera. That's why all these extra 25s are in here. But you can see we're able to print out on the balance inquiry receipt all of the transactions that this particular card was used on. So if you have one card that a customer is going to use over and over again, you can show it loaded the first time, their various expenditures over a period of time, when they recharge it, all that sort of stuff, and still come back to a balance. So pretty cool. Could get lengthy if you use it for a long period of time, but at least it's nice to know that you can go ahead and get that balance info just like what you know you're going to have to do. So we started this session by going through a refunded transaction where we printed out a voucher with a barcode on it that stored value rather than giving the customer cash back. So I wanted to end the actual live demonstration using the same exact transaction, except in this scenario, instead of using a voucher, we're going to use a gift card. So you don't have to use the voucher to do the refund like we did earlier. You could use a gift card as well. So I went ahead and I scanned that barcode. Here's all the stuff on it. We're going to go ahead and return the charcoal again. You can see I'm in refund mode here. I'm ready to refund out. I'm going to go ahead and subtotal out, but instead of hitting refund voucher like what we did before, I'm simply going to hit gift card here. So when I hit gift card, the operator is going to tell the customer to go ahead and swipe the card. Mr. Customer is going to come over to the pin pad, get his card turned around the proper way, go ahead, swipe that card. You can see there's validation on the pin pad for the customer that says this transaction is $10.49. In this case, it's a return, so we're loading that value onto the gift card. Customer is going to confirm yes. You heard the receipt print out on the SMS, or I'm sorry, on the receipt printer. And now if we look at our receipt here, you'll see here's the return, just like before. Here's our account number on the gift card. And if we come down to the bottom, look at this. This is pretty cool. We use the same exact gift card to refund this transaction, or at least this item on that transaction, back to the customer. So remember, our value was $28 and some change, if I remember right. So we added $10.49 to the same gift card in a refund scenario. Pretty cool stuff. Now let's hop into the back end of this baby and look at some of the reporting. All right, so reporting needs are going to be all over the place. Just work with your certified reseller to determine what reports that you're going to need and which ones are going to make the most sense. This is one that's out of the box, pretty standard. It's going to show you, based on today's activity of what we've done in this video, plus a couple other things I did to add some data points, it's going to show you the total amount that is out there in gift cards, the prepay increases for today. So these are the gift cards that I sold. These are the gift cards, or the amount that I used as a tender, or customers use it as a tender. I can expand these out. If I have multiple stores, I can show line item detail for each one of those gift cards or vouchers used or sold. And then same thing, the ones that are used are down here. I can show you line item level detail here as well on the vouchers and gift cards that are used. So pretty cool. The reporting is going to be all over the darn place, I know. So this is just one example to give you an idea of the types of data elements that can be kept behind the scenes. Well, that's it for this week's tip. Get a lot of questions on SMS payment, its features, its functions, and how you do it. So hopefully this week's video gives you an idea of what we can do with vouchers, whether they're barcodes printed on a receipt paper or gift cards. Until next time, have a great day.